Are you ready to make a real shift in your life? Do you feel like you have hidden capabilities that you would like to unlock so that you can truly discover your potential? Whether you're new to NLP or you're an NLP master, the technique that I'm going to show you will immediately have a profound effect on your life. What's even better is that you can start doing it right now. And it's so stupidly simple. Wait, cut. Can we do that again? It's not stupid. It actually works. And it's so incredibly simple, you'll wonder why you hadn't already thought of it. After more than a decade of studying, practicing, and teaching NLP, damn, has it really been that long? Jeez, I've been doing this for quite a while. I've realized that there are super simple techniques that I use so often that I even forget that I'm doing it. When you practice this technique enough, it will become so automatic that you won't even have to think about it. It will become a part of you. And when it does, I would love to know what your results are. So make sure you let me know in the comments below, especially when you start experiencing the edge this technique will give you. And no need to take notes. I've got you covered. Below this video, in the description box, you'll find a link to access a PDF that will walk you through this process that I'm giving to you in this video. But first, let's discover how it works. The technique I will reveal in a moment will make you naturally gravitate toward creating what you want in your life with a lot less friction. And no, it's not affirmations or the law of attraction. Those things never worked for me. And once you start using this, you'll find it works better, faster, and with more precision than that so-called vibrational manifestation stuff. But before we dive into it, you first need to know one of the biggest mistakes people make when it comes to NLP. Even if you consider yourself a master practitioner, this will keep you from being truly effective. I call it technique-itis. Yes, technique-itis. Technique-itis is when you focus on learning a new NLP technique and then another one and then another one and on and on and on. What's wrong with that, you might ask? Most people just don't practice a technique enough to become effective at it. In other words, they don't actually learn the technique before jumping to the next one. Later, after you've spent thousands of dollars on trainings and you have a wall of dubious NLP certifications, you'll wonder why your life isn't any different and your bank account is still empty. Don't be that person. And how you're going to avoid being that person is by practicing. And soon, you'll just do it automatically. That is the ultimate goal with any NLP technique or process, unconscious competence. So when I reveal the technique, if you find yourself saying,
"Oh, I already know that one,"
stop and ask yourself if you're actually using it effectively. Has your life observably changed as a result? The answer is probably no. So listen up and pay attention if you finally want to leverage real change in your life. And for this technique to work, you need to understand the relationship between the conscious mind and the unconscious mind. Milton Erickson, the father of modern hypnosis, explained this relationship by saying it's like a person on a horse. The rider is the conscious mind. The unconscious is the horse. The rider thinks he's in control, but actually the big strong horse has more agency over which direction they go and where they end up together. The unconscious will follow the direction of the conscious mind, just like the rider guides the horse, but the horse doesn't actually know where the destination is. It only knows which direction to go when the rider communicates it clearly. Keep that in mind. Your unconscious works the same way. It doesn't know ultimately what you want to accomplish or where you want to go. It only responds to clear directions. The better you communicate to your unconscious what you want, the better it will respond without any resistance. Here's why this is so important and why understanding it is going to make a huge difference in your life. And don't stop at only understanding this intellectually. Program it into yourself. When you hear this question, I'm going to ask you, what do you think about? The question is, what do you want? Now, did you think about what you don't want? You might be saying, not me, but yes, you. You are likely doing this. Nearly everyone does. We're mentally hardwired from birth to focus on what we don't want in order to avoid things that threaten our safety. And what's worse is that we're mostly not even conscious of it. If fear is stopping you from doing something you want to do, that fear is a clear indication that you're focused on what you don't want. If you weren't, you probably wouldn't be so afraid of it. You would weigh the risks and the benefits rationally and make a choice based on the logic and likelihood that you would get what you want if you go for it, rather than making a choice based on fear. The irony is that fear of what you don't want often causes what you don't want to come true. For example, let's say you don't want to fail because you fear failure. As a result, you never try. Therefore, you don't succeed. This can go on for years, even decades, avoiding failure by never trying. If you never try, though, you can't possibly succeed. So what is that? It's failure. Imagine for a moment that your conscious mind is a light shining in the darkness, guiding the way. Your unconscious, just like the horse, will not step in places where it cannot see. So if you're shining the light on all the things you don't want because you're trying to avoid them, your unconscious will only bring you to where the light is shining, to the things you don't want. Shine the light on what you fear and want to avoid, and your unconscious will gravitate in that direction, taking all of you with it. This is why so many people feel stuck and unable to get out of their own way. Your unconscious is engineered to move away from chaos, away from confusion, and away from uncertainty, regardless of what your conscious mind wants. So what happens when you're more clear about what you don't want than what you do want because you're so focused on avoiding it? You guessed it, you will create what you don't want. Fear is a type of focus. When you focus on something, you become more certain about it. Fear as an alarm system to warn you about threats is essential, but staying in fear causes you to be so clear and certain about what you don't want that your unconscious will think that that's the direction you want to go. This is what most people refer to as self-sabotage and resistance. Because you don't understand that you're causing it, you will fight against yourself, much like an autoimmune disease attacks the very body it's trying to protect. As a result, you will try to use willpower to discipline your unconscious, like the rider trying to discipline a stubborn horse, not realizing that your unconscious isn't really resisting. You're just giving it confusing instructions. When you think of what you want in your life, are you more focused and clear on what you do want, or are you more clear and focused on what you don't want? If you experience crippling fear when you think about doing what you want, you now know the answer. Take some time to think about all that you want to do and all that you want your life to become, and be conscious of how you're thinking about it. Are you moving toward what you want, or are you moving away from what you don't want? It's okay to know what you don't want and to even be clear about it. You just don't want to make it your focus. An NLP technique we can use to overcome this is called Meta Programs. More specifically, the Toward and Away From Meta Program. To sum it up, make it a habit of replacing your fear with motivation by interrupting the fixation on what you don't want with a focus on what you do want. You will feel this powerful shift in your mindset right away. Remember to get your copy of the free PDF I mentioned earlier. Not only do I go more in depth about meta programs in it, it will serve as a great reminder to interrupt this away from pattern. Still hungry for more in-depth explanations on NLP techniques that can absolutely transform your life faster than you ever thought possible? Then you will definitely want to check out this next video where I share some of the best NLP techniques, how to do them, and why they work.